Okay, so what I've done is on Canvas, you may have seen prior to what I just did, is that this item was not in the list. So I've added, just for the Mac users, one video that goes over this. And I'm going to do it fairly quickly. I still recommend as a Mac user you watch how to do this because it's in more detail. But basically, hopefully you've got Git installed and you're set up on your local system for VS Code, right? So hopefully you're there and we can just walk you through this part. So on the Mac, I'm just going to switch over to my local install. And the reason it's not completely new like I had done on the Windows side is I normally use a Mac for all of my coding. Okay, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to step through creating the folder for holding the two repos. I talk about this already. So again, do me a favor and watch those other ones if you want some more detail. So I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm not going to open a folder because I don't have it yet. And I'm not going to clone, like I told you before. Let's see if the option is here. Yeah. So what I'll do is down here in the command line, I'll do pwd to see where I'm located. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make directory. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and make this just a little. This should be making it a little, there we go, a little bigger. It's a little different keyboard keystroke here. Now this is the top level directory for me. I probably should have done this before. You don't have to do this, you can, but here's a directory I've shown students and I want them to create, which by the way, if I do pwd, remember, I am in a terminal here, and I have selected bash as the default, but you can use ZHC if you want. It's really up to you. I think both will work. As long as you can do this and you see it, you're fine. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to do mkdir. By the way, you can also just create this on your Finder, right? You could, and in this case, I navigate to here, and I've actually created it here, and then I could just create a new folder. I guess I do it over here, a new folder there. It's another way to do it. I just like to do things as much as I can, making directory through a bash command, and I'll type CIT93, okay, FA21. Cool. I'll do pwd here and I will see, and actually I'm going to do cd. Actually, instead of doing that, I'm just actually now going to open the folder that I created. Okay, so now I'm going to come into here because from now on, did it get created? Oh, it created at one level up. Yeah, I can fix that, or I can leave it the way it is. There we go. And again, now this is the same as on the Windows side, right? Trust this this environment, these folders right here. And now I'm going to come back to the terminal. Cool, still using bash. Now I'm in that directory and now I'm ready to do the cloning. Okay, so I'm just going to start the command. We don't have everything we need yet. I just like to do the first part of it. Now I think on the Mac side, we're going to run into the same thing you did, if you saw, and I hope you did, on the Windows side, which is I'm going to go to GitHub. I'm going to go to settings. And I talk about this in more detail about the fact that now on GitHub, you need to do a personal access token. Now, I already have one for my Mac, but you'll want to create a new one. And as I said before, make sure, right, test for Mac, right? Now, in this case, you only need to set it up for this. And it's really important. And by the way, this is not my key. I've already have mine. When you generate that token, this is not a key that's usable. I'll delete it. But you want to copy that as soon as you get it, because as soon as you go away from the page or refresh it, that goes away. All right, so you want to have that in your system before we do the actual cloning. Okay, so now let's actually do the clone command that I talked about. So now I'm going to go back into the organization in a 93. I'm going to actually, in this case, do the private this time because I found out, hopefully you watched, again, I keep saying this, but if you watch the Windows one, you see I figured out I needed to log in when I was using this one. I'm going to grab, we're cloning through HTTPS. I'll copy this. I'll come down in here. I already have git clone because that's the command, git space clone. And then I'm going to paste that long URL that tells it this is what I'm cloning. And this should be where we're asked. Now, in this case, I'm just going to tell you, I got this because of my install already. I hit cancel here. You probably will not get it. You will probably only get the following screen where it actually asks you your username. Okay. Now that's my username. Again, this is the username you provided me for GitHub. And here's where you want to paste the password as the token that you got, because that token is now required. And I'm going to go over and get it. You won't be able to see it. Okay. And I'm going to paste it. So I hit enter. And now what happens is it does clone that repo. Okay. And now I have that repo cloned locally, and I can do the same thing, but now I'll clone the public one. And we'll walk through the workflow. I'm going to actually let you do the public one. If you watched and you do watch my Windows one, you'll see that I have two folders here at the same level, the private one and the public one. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and open this. And I talk about this is that I want you to, let's just go into the setup here, because this is where I show how to, I think it's right here. You can get all these links. Next one. So that's the part that we just did. That's the folder. So it's actually the Git workflow where I grab the Git ignore example. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this code, and all I'm doing here, I don't want to grab just only the code. I'm going to copy this. When I come down, it looks like I've already done this on the other one. So for you, you're going to see the version we did when we originally created the repos, but you can just paste this over. Okay, now this is going to change the file. Again, I talk about having autosave on here, so it automatically saves, but I'll just update this one with Mac. Okay, so what we can see here is that we have an update to the file, right? And now what I'm going to do is actually go through the process, making sure I have autosave on, which I do. Open an integrated terminal. I could just change there. It'd be another fine way to do it. I'm going to do git status. Tells me I've modified the file. This file has been modified. Remember, when you're doing the git ignore, what you want to do is actually do it from the actual directory. And in this case, we're doing the same thing. You'll see this as we move through on week one, but we'll do Git Add. And I can either do for anything that's open. Right now, I only have one file. So I could do that, or I could do Git Add. Now I've already done it. I don't have to do it again. RE, hit tab, same thing works. That it works in Windows where it automatically finds the file. So then I'll do git commit -m, updating the readme.md, git push. Now here's where you're actually taking the code from the local repo that you've done the Git workflow on, and now you're pushing this to GitHub. And in this case, it looks like it was able to read the token from before, so it didn't ask you, which is great for that again, and you should be good to go. Okay, so that is indeed how you do this step, right? So you do want to, by the way, let me just say this, before you do, I should have shown this, but I didn't, but before you do these steps, you want to do this configuration. And basically what I did is I showed, and it should have flagged me. And the only reason on my Mac side it didn't, again, is that I've already been coding and doing this work, but you can just do there, and then you can type in your username, right? So do those two commands, but you can see that I believe it's -- list. Yeah, so you can see that I already have that set up from my local system. So you want to do those steps first. Sorry, I didn't cover that. And then modify that git ignore file, and then update the README file so that you can go through this process, and that you should be good to go now and ready for next week. Which is week 1, depending on when you saw this, could be sometime in summer. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. I hope this helps you out. I hope you didn't run into any issues installing it. I talked about that before. If not, reach out on Discord and ask for help. Talk to you later.